Hello friends, this video on semiconductors part 18 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 17 before going ahead with part 18. So let us try to solve some problems based on whatever we have studied so far. However, this lesson is more about understanding the concepts, understanding what is happening where and how things work rather than just solving numericals. Still, we will look at some of the problems. So let us look at the first problem. It says, in an unbiased p-n junction, holes diffuse from p region to n region because. So if I'm talking about an unbiased p-n junction, that means it is a p-n junction which is not connected to any external voltage. So no external voltage is applied across this p-n junction. So why do you think that holes will diffuse from p region to n region? Holes means the majority carrier diffusion. So why does the diffusion of majority carrier takes place? I have already mentioned that they diffuse because of the difference in concentration, because the concentration of holes in p region is very high and the concentration of holes in n region is very low. So that is why holes diffuse from p region to n region. So which is the correct option? Hole concentration in p region is more as compared to the n region. Right? So in this case, what happens? Holes diffuse from p to n and electrons diffuse from n to p. Let us look at problem 3. It says, in half wave rectification, what is the output frequency if the input frequency is 50 Hz? Okay, so let us consider a half wave rectifier. What happens in the half wave rectifier? The output frequency is equal to the input frequency. Remember, I mentioned that, let us suppose if this is my input signal, how would be my output signal? It would be somewhat like this. So if you look at one cycle, you see how many waves are covered in this? One. How many waves are covered in this? One. So the frequency of output is equal to the frequency of input. So output frequency will be equal to input frequency, that is 50 Hz. What is the output frequency of a full wave rectifier for the same frequency? So for a full wave rectifier, what will happen? The output frequency becomes twice as that of the input frequency, because in full wave, this was for half wave rectifier. For full wave rectifier, it is somewhat like this. So that means if we look at one cycle, here it is one wave in the input, but here it is two waves, right? So the output frequency will be twice the input frequency. Therefore, in this case, the output frequency will be equal to 100 Hz. Right? Okay. Let's look at the next problem. It says, a p-n photodiode is fabricated from a semiconductor with band gap of 2.8 electron volts. Okay, band gap is given as 2.8 electron volt. Can it detect a wavelength of 6000 nanometers? Okay, so we have to see whether an energy band gap or an energy gap of 2.8 electron volts detect a wavelength of 6000 nanometers. So what was a photodiode? It was a device which is used to detect optical signal. So that means the band gap, what is band gap? Band gap is nothing but it is an energy. So this energy can be written as h nu, which can be written as hc by lambda, right? So from this we can calculate the value of lambda. So what will be the value of lambda? It would be hc divided by eg, which comes out to be 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 34 into 3 into 10 to the power 8 divided by 2.8 electron volts. So we can convert it into joules as 2.8 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. So this can be written as this. So this comes out to be, so in this case, what do we get? The value of wavelength, it comes out to be around 4.46 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters. So we see that the wavelength associated with the energy gap comes out to be this much. Now, if you look at this wavelength which is asked in the problem, how much is 6000 nanometers? It is nothing but 60 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters, right? So if you compare this wavelength with this wavelength, what do you see? This wavelength is greater than this wavelength. Therefore, 6000 nanometer can't be detected by this photodiode because the wavelength is greater than what it can detect, right? Okay, so let us look at the last problem of this section. It says that in an intrinsic semiconductor, the energy gap Eg is 1.2 electron volts. Its hole mobility is much smaller than electron mobility and independent of temperature. What is the ratio between conductivity at 600 Kelvin and that at 300 Kelvin? Assume that the temperature dependence of intrinsic carrier concentration is given by Ni is equal to N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB into T. What is kB? kB is nothing but Boltzmann constant. So here the problem itself says that if I tell you that intrinsic concentration, it varies with temperature by this relation. In that case, we have to find out the ratio between conductivity at 600 Kelvin and conductivity at 300 Kelvin. So what is the energy gap? It is 1.2 electron volts, that is 1.2 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. Now also given in the problem, Ni is equal to N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by kB into T, right? Now at T is equal to 300 Kelvin. What would be intrinsic carrier concentration? Let me call it as Ni1. This will be N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB into 300. At T is equal to 600 Kelvin, Ni2 is equal to N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB into 600, right? So therefore we can say that Ni2 divided by Ni1 is equal to N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB into 600. This divided by N0 e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB into 300. So this N0 and N0 will get cancelled. So we can write it as e to the power minus Eg divided by 2 kB 1 by 300 minus 1 by 600. So this comes out to be e to the power Eg by 2 kB into 1 by 600, and this finally comes out to be e to the power 11.6, which comes out to be 1.09 into 10 to the power 5. So this comes out to be the ratio between the conductivity at 600 Kelvin and 300 Kelvin. So here we have put the value of Eg as this, and kB. What is kB? kB is Boltzmann constant, which is 8.62 into 10 to the power minus 5 electron volt per Kelvin. Or if you want to write it in Joule Kelvin, then divide it by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.